All right, call the Lisbon Village Board meeting to order on April 8th, 2026 at 6:30. Roll call, please.
President Gerke,
Here.
Trustee Moonen,
Here.
Trustee Vaughn,
Here.
Trustee Quinn,
Here.
Trustee Beal,
Here.
Administrator Green,
Here.
and Clerk Capazzo to record the minutes.
We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 3 are citizen comments. You're invited to share your comments. Limit your presentation to about 3 minutes. If you wish to speak, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. We've got a number of items on tonight's agenda. I'm anticipating that most people are here for one of those items. When we get to that item, we will not have open discussion. So if you'd like to make any comments, now is the time to do so. Come on up again. Start with your name and address, please.
My name is Dustin, last name Woyak. I live over on South Willow Creek in Glendale Farms. And so I just came here to talk today. I made a graphic a while ago about the sewer service for the village of Lisbon, which got a lot of comments on Facebook and social media. And basically it was made to bring attention to what the village is doing with the sewer service agreement and expanding it. And as I understand, it was agreed upon one of your graphics, the pink area was the new sewer service agreement that was agreed upon. And I would be against, and I think a large majority of people would be against forced hookups. Though you could say that you're not going to force hookups all day long, but once the sewer service agreement's in place, you could go ahead and vote and make sure and put people on forced hookups. And in regards to Richmond School and the fire station, the infrastructure that would be needed to gravity feed it, it's going to cost a lot of money. That money's going to have to be borrowed, bonded, and I'm not really sure how you would pay that back without putting people on it. So my whole cause for it was to bring attention to it so that the residents are aware of what's happening, speak to it, because sewer leads to other things, municipal water, high density housing, stuff like that. Pew Farms was talked about. That kind of leads into it. There was 2 comments from the last board meeting that I thought were concerning. One village member said that they, and I can quote it if we need to, but they were aware that's going to create backlash, but they would support high density housing for the Pew Farms lot, which would be 20,000 acre or 20,000 square foot lots, half acre lots, with high density in that area, and also new development areas. So I would just wanted to bring that to the attention to the residents. Just get that on record that I think that a lot of people would be against that if you actually polled that. That's about it.
All right, thank you.
And I support the ATV ordinance, and I'm willing to help with whatever I need to. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up.
My name is Joan Plato. I live at North 65 West 26307 Lake Drive in Lisbon. I'm here regarding the preliminary plat agreement or vote tonight on page 45 of your agenda. Alpine Hills is a new subdivision that the town wants to add that is off of Silver Spring and Mary Hill Road. That will adjoin, according to the plot, to Beacon Hills subdivision. Beacon Hills over the years was initially developed for about 100 homes. We now have 325 homes that connect, not including what will happen with Alpine Hills. Some of the roads get very busy now because of all the increased traffic. So there's several issues with Alpine Hills, one of which is the Lake Drive extension that they want to put through into Beacon Hills. We have a lot of young children in Beacon Hills. There's no sidewalks, no parks, no place for children to play or ride their bikes or scooters other than the streets. Beacon Hills has a lot of increased traffic from the subdivision additions that have happened over the years. The road going through for Lake Drive will also be used as a shortcut for Osblick traffic, which is the ski hill. Part of what I read in there is they want to put a parking lot exit onto Lake Drive, which will make that a very busy road. I don't think any of us in Lisbon bought our houses and properties wanting to connect to a busy commercial property or have all the increased traffic that goes down that road. Like the board to consider when they vote on Alpine Hills, all the subdivisions being added in Lisbon. We now have high-density housing going all the way from 164 west to almost Merton at this point. The other concern I have is all of these subdivisions have affected the wildlife. We have many deer now laying on the side of the road. They have nowhere to go. What is going to happen to all this wildlife? Is Lisbon going to relocate them, euthanize them? Are they going to go? So I'd like you to take all of this into consideration when voting tonight for the Alpine Hills. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Joe DeStefano Senior, North 91, West 27279 Hickory Road. I'm in favor of the UTV ATV ordinance. I talked to a fellow officer in Hartford where they actually run right down Highway 60 and they've had no issues since they have passed it. And he lives in Jackson and he no issues there either. And it'd be great to have it and connect us with everybody else and we can enjoy some family time and ride around. And like I offered last time, I got a 4-seater and take anybody for a ride. Wants to check it out. It's great to drive around and that's why we live in the country. So it'd be great to have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got one coming up here, Becky, then you're next. Go. All right.
I'm Randy Plato at North 65 West 26307 Lake Drive. I guess I want to question why they feel they have to bring Lake Drive through into this new subdivision. None of the people who live on Lake Drive want it. What is the benefit? Is it because they're putting in that parking lot and they need the extra egress from the parking lot, and at 1 or 2 in the morning when things close down because they're building bigger venues there, that you're going to have 100 cars driving down the road? I guess we're not going to be happy about that. And my question is, why is the planning commission and the board so intent on having the road go through unless there are favors being passed? Because the people don't want it. I guarantee you every single person on Lake Drive does not want that road to go through. And it has nothing to do with safety because it's safer with the road as a dead end. It has nothing to do with school buses because it's a different school district. So I guess I don't know what's going on, but something's going on.
All right, thank you, Randy. Becky, go ahead. You can come on up.
Becky Plotecker, N79W25605 Plainview Road. I am here tonight because the improvements to our park is on the agenda tonight. I ask everyone to remember that the push to update our park started in 2024 with the village board adopting a budget for 2025, including a $2 million borrow that would start improving our parks. that borrow was never done. But that would start our improvements, especially playground equipment. It was decided to do a park study, which has been completed finally, of what they feel is good for our parks. I urge this board not to go back to the days where everything was postponed. I cannot tell you the last time something was done to improve our parks. The study has brought forth a lot of ideas, some good and some not so good. But I think it would be helpful if the park committee went over the list and picked out which ideas should be done first and which parks should be done first. I would like to see playground equipment high on the list. Again, I just wanted to ask the board members to keep being proactive and not put off the improvements. The parks have been ignored for way too long. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go on.
Hi, Todd Shy, my wife Karen, N87 W27866 Perennial Terrace. I'm here to show support for the UTV ATV ordinance, and I'd like to invite you guys to help us with that. And the reason as well as the others have mentioned, I use my UTV to plow, and so I plow my neighbors out, and I'm helping in the neighborhood, and they need to be able to get over to the gas station to get some fuel. So not only as a recreational, but I use it as a helpful tool to help the neighbors out. So that's my support.
Thank you.
My name is Mike Brandt, North 59 West 28135 Ainsworth Road. I am in here tonight as well to show support for the ATV UBT. I'd like to see it and the board to really consider that. You got all your municipalities around you, Town of Merton, one of them, Richfield, you know, like the other gentleman said, Hartford, Jackson, so on and so forth. We live out here in the country for a reason. You know, let us use our vehicles as such. So I'm in support of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Go for it.
You state your name and make sure you get your name and address for the record.
Nice to meet you all for the first time. North 51 West 24181 Lisbon Road, Lisbon, Wisconsin, 53072. I am in support of the UTV ordinance. I think everybody already knows that. I would also like the village to fund for the signs. I think it is, in my opinion, definitely appropriate for the village to pay for signs on municipal roads, snowmobile trails and such, where it's going on the private roads and such. I think that definitely it's appropriate for clubs to be funding all those because it's not municipal roads. But I think in this case, I just asked for the village to take care of those. Also very much in support of the park improvements. I think our equipment definitely needs an update, and I will defend the boards over the years. We had a lot going on. I mean, there was incorporation, which was always the focal point of everything. And now it's nice to be able to, hopefully you guys can look at, make some improvements on them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Cushell, N73 W24680 Peterson Road. I am here in support of the UTV routes here in the town of Lisbon. I think it'd be a great opportunity for all of the residents here to be able to get to other municipalities, other towns, other counties, and have some fun. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
If anyone on Zoom would like to comment during citizen comment, please use the raise hand function. All right, we have Chad on Zoom.
All right, Chad, if you can hear us, go ahead.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Great. Hey guys, thanks so much. My name is Chad Waldron. I live at N90W25245 Tomahawk Drive. I'm here to speak with you regarding the ATV ordinance. I reviewed the proposed draft of the ordinance, and it seems like it's written in a way that will work for a community our size. It's not written too small or too big. It seems to me that this ordinance is not necessarily a ticket for folks to do whatever they want with ATVs, but rather an ordinance of reasonable access, kind of for neighbors to further connect, thereby strengthening the community. I can see an objection based on noise emissions. However, the ordinance does do a nice job of accounting for this by limiting machines to a factory muffler, making them no more impactful than a motorcycle. And importantly, this ordinance would help reinforce the small town values that many of us trust the board is seeking to uphold and protect. So I'm in support of it, and it seems like a lot of people are. We thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Mr. Gregg, don't wish to make comments. Is there anyone else from the audience here that would like to speak? Again, this is the last opportunity to do so. All right, hearing none, then we're gonna move on to item 4 on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. I guess we're gonna peel off item A. Is there anything else that the board wishes to take up separately or not consider at this time? If not, is there a motion on the consent agenda items B through F?
So moved. I
Right.
second.
So, Mark made the motion to approve, Linda seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5A is on accounts payable is authorized payment of the one-click bills dated March 27th for $2,134.66. Is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-click bill for $2,134.66.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 4-0. Item 5B, authorize payments for the remaining bills dated March 27th in the amount of $377,940.70.
On March 27th, top 5 expenditures, U.S. Bank for $150,042.65. Waukesha County Treasurer, $83,672.88. Fujiwa Enterprises, $75,767.91. Village of Suffolk, $23,441.34. And Meet Energy for $10,045.
Any questions or discussions on this?
Is that the last payment for the ball field?
Yeah, there might be one for around 4,000. They had to do some digging of the X stops that they ran into some bedrock, so they had to do a little bit more work. I think that was this check run.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion then on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve the remaining bills dated 3/27 for $377,940.70. Second.
Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is the announcements and correspondence. We have a Public Works and Utility Committee meeting here at the Village Hall next Wednesday, the 15th at 5 o'clock. Plan Commission meeting Wednesday, April 22nd at 6:30 at the Richard Young Fire Station. We have open book scheduled here at the Village Hall on April 28th, 29th, and 30th. In context of this, when will the assessments be going out? I mean, those haven't hit mailboxes yet.
They should gonna send them. Got them approved and I got email first.
Okay,
tomorrow, we're probably gonna.
So we'll have enough, maybe some correspondence on, or on the website, kind of maybe preemptively adjusting some of those issues.
Yeah, we'll get information out about the Board of Appeals and they want to file an objection and contact the assessor there.
Okay. And then we'll put on the website the timing of those. Well, actually, that's probably gonna be in the notices, obviously. Yeah.
Yep, and the publication already hit the paper.
Parks Committee meeting, next month, Wednesday, May 13th, 5 o'clock at Village Hall, and our next Village Board meeting, that same night, May 13th, 6:30 at the Village Hall. Is there any other announcements or correspondence to note?
Just a reminder that I will be out of town from Saturday, the 11th through Monday, the 20th. But Dan and Lisa and Natasha will all be in the office.
Okay. Have fun wherever you're going.
Thank you.
Item 7 is the administrator report, Dan.
I wanted to thank you, Lisa, for running a very good election yesterday. Had exciting flux on both passes that were sold over the absentee period, as well as election day. You provided a memorandum in the packet that gives an overview of the turnout for the election. So reach out to Lisa. The spring newsletter was published yesterday. It should be on our website. And just some highlights for that. We can get a lot of questions. The compost site over and open the 18th. And then the Public Works Department will be beginning rough up on Monday. Auditor for on site, Ethan Martin 23rd. The audit went very well. Wendy Unger from Baker Tilly will be at the next meeting to give an update on her findings from the audit. And I just want to give props to the Highway and Parks Department for a great job on the baseball diamond. They did some restoration work. They spread turfus and they did some hydro seeding. They restored some of the bleacher areas, so it gives them a chance to look at.
All right, we'll move on to update from the Waukesha County Sheriff's Department.
Good evening, Lieutenant Stramberg. Just gonna go over some first quarter numbers. Deputies conducted 249 traffic stops, 145 citations. They went to 34 accidents, completed 391 extra patrols and building checks, responded to 44 911 hangups, and responded to 10 domestics. As far as truck enforcement, there was 47 total truck citations issued during the spring weight limits. 41 of them were issued during the hiring of the 80 hours for the deputy. And then lastly, Deputy Peterson responded to the Easter extravaganza, said it was a success and there was no issues. So that's all I got. Any questions?
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Where are the two signs that we have put out there to say the traffic, the speed limit? Do you have those out there any place in the town, in the village?
The speed signs?
Yeah, the ones that it's regulated, tells you how fast you're going or if you're speeding or something like that. Where are they?
I am not sure if they're out currently.
Oh,
I can definitely look into that though.
yeah. I thought the opposite was to keep it out.
I know we've had one in the past. I didn't remember during my time, we never had two, but we had one that would get rotated to areas
Yeah.
where we had concerns.
Yeah, the speed board that would move around different locations. Yeah.
I thought it was two. Am I wrong? Is it one?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean,
It might have
either-
increased the two. I don't
it
know.
might be a Public Works. I don't know I don't know if the deputy's managing it or if Public Works is managing it.
Okay, just curious where they are. Thank you,
Definitely look into it though.
thank you.
All right, thank you. We might have some
Yeah.
questions for you on another item, but we're good for now. So is it okay with everyone if we would take out of order
Yeah.
item
Yeah.
D under new business?
Definitely.
Yep.
All right. So that is discussion and necessary action regarding ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance to repeal and create chapter 85.04 entitled Mini Bikes of the Village of Lisbon Municipal Code to regulate all-terrain vehicle and utility terrain vehicle routes. You had kind of an introduction last meeting, Dan, but nothing formally written out here. Is there anything you want to introduce to what you have here tonight?
Couple of things. One, the attorney reviewed it, had very minor changes to the ordinance, so what you see is already attorney improved. I did get some sign quotes from Nick, who reached out to process on signs. They actually had just done a sign order by that's all right. A very similar style. We've calculated how many that we need for each, and then along with the total proposed expenditure with the total we may, in going through the process of installing, may find that we may need a few more here or there, so we can kind of deal with that if it comes. But initially, it looks like we're right around that $4,000. And otherwise, and then that's
I have a question. Okay, just curious. Joe brought up a good point. Sorry, Joe. Are these only on municipal roads, or any of the signs going to be posted on private property?
and
Okay.
and village-
Thank-
road.
Okay, thank you.
And you can't ride on the county roads like 164 and whatnot. That's in the ordinance.
Okay.
You can cross them, but you can't
Yeah.
drive on them. Rob, you want, I mean, you've been championing this. Do you want to maybe otherwise start with your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. I've got several, probably have an email about support of it so far. We got a lot of people here in support. The sign estimate actually came in a little bit cheaper than I expected, so it's always good. I do think we should pay for it, not make a motor or a ATV club pay for it. Since we don't really have any active here, and we're not really a destination for people to come to necessarily. I think a lot more people will just be riding here, riding out. Just because we don't have all the businesses for people here, but. Yeah, I think it's a very good proposal we have here. Well written, the attorney likes it. I don't really, we have a lot of protections in here for like noise ordinances and. You can't go at night past 11 to 5. Headlights, taillights. I don't really foresee too many issues, and I haven't really heard any other issues from other communities around here. Oh. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor for it.
All right, who wants to speak next?
Yeah, I was in favor, pending the attorney review, the fact that the attorneys have seen it and are in favor of it, I'm happy with it.
I'm in favor of it. Just quick, you said 11 o'clock, which is in here. Is that a normal time at night for it to stop? 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock? Is that, I would imagine 11 is pretty normal.
Yeah,
Okay,
and some communities don't have any. but-
okay, all right, thank you.
The ordinances that I drafted this on, go that.
Okay, thank you. I'm in favor of it.
Mark, do you wanna-
Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of it. I appreciate everyone reaching out individually and as a group. It's good to see community coming together and support something they're passionate about. I agree that the signage should be a community funded objective. Also, some of the ways we could tackle that at a reduced cost is, I know by the ordinance that's gonna be passed tonight, it would go into effect today, but one of the options for a reduced cost for the signage would be the Bureau of Correctional Enterprises. They do have a program in place that already has templated ATV signs, so we wouldn't need to spend any private business money in the sense of funding it. So I'd be in support of our levy and budget supporting that.
Did reach out to the DNR, they had grants for certain things related to ATV, so I did reach out, contact there, see if there's funding.
Okay.
Mike, are you done, Mark? Good. And my comments are similar to the last meeting. I know that I will receive complaints from residents, but we've had 2 meetings here now with no one speaking opposed, everyone in favor. So when those complaints come in, I can speak to everyone that came here tonight and spoke in favor and have sent communications to us as a sign of the support. As I said, I was hoping to bring this to another committee or two and have a further discussion, but the fact that this went over a couple months and has been out there, I feel as though that's a pretty good exposure. Again, $4,000 in our budget isn't that large. I do find it slightly interesting, though, that this board has found that to be an issue, reason enough to deny other items in the recent past that they didn't like. But I see every issue does have its nuances. So I will not be voting opposed to this by any means tonight. We have someone from the sheriff's office here. Did anyone else have any questions or anything else they would like to ask, as long as we have that resource? All right. And you said that you did discuss this with the captain. She isn't provide a recommendation, but she was consulted and provided her input.
Yeah, he knows about it. I sent her the ordinance. He didn't provide any additional comment.
Go ahead, Rex.
Motion to adopt the ordinance 2026-05.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing no additional discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 5-0. We'll just take like a 2 or 3 minute recess. Everyone's welcome to stay. We got a lot of exciting items yet on tonight's agenda. But if you want to leave, we can give a minute just to clear out orderly if you'd like.
Yeah. Come back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't be a stranger, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. Not wrong. Sure, yeah.
Take a spin later. I'll take a spin later.
I can't cite you for anything because there's no signs.
Yeah. That takes effect now, right?
Okay.
All right, the next item is item 9A, discussion and necessary action regarding the conceptual park plan options. So, I think we did have this in front of the Parks Committee. They provided some, I think, great feedback last month. And we had architecture here the last month, and now it's a matter of keep the discussion going. So, Paula, do you want to start? You being the parks person, or Mike, do you want to kind of step up to the microphone if we have questions for you, or do you want to just, yeah, come on up. I think we'll get you involved.
Mike thought he was done with meetings for the day.
I mean, I guess where to start is, I think everybody agrees that the Lisbon Community Park has got it. It's our premier park and it's where we want to start the improvements. Everyone agrees that we need better bathrooms up there, flush toilets. With the improved ballpark, we're looking to do a shelter up there. It's a big number. So I think a lot of this, like if I could, I would do all of this, obviously, but that's not in the budget, right? So I think, again, I know Dan's working on some grant stuff. He's also working on getting community buy-in for, helping us with some of the costs of some of these things. So I do like the idea of prioritizing this list, but I think a lot of it for me is going to come down to budget and where this all ends up and where where we can afford to do what we want to do. I think there are some non-negotiables on here that have to get done that we've discussed before. So I think that's where we start the discussion.
I think this discussion is gonna tie in. The other discussion, which is. What that is, that's gonna, this is gonna steer the conversation of how much money you want to.
Right, agreed.
That's dependent on that.
Just to stay on your point, I will agree, and kind of the way I kind of prioritize things is I agree that Lisbon Community Park is the number one park and it will receive the most money, but I by no means want it to be exclusively the only park that gets touched.
Yes.
So just I know that in the past that's gotten a lot more attention than some other parks. So I like to spread the money around to some other
I agree.
some other parks though too.
Yep, totally agree.
And I think the Parkitecture's proposals did I mean, again, they spent about half of what they said on Lisbon Community Park, but they still did, they touched everything, touched all the park, so that was positive.
They did. Order. So we have this survey too. So, another thing, in addition to, what parks we're going to be spending money on, or the services that are in there, like pickleball was a big thing people wanted to see. Again, that's another big expense. This park up here at
Stone Family?
Yep, no, right here.
Village Hall, yeah.
Park, yeah. I know part of the conversation that was had with some of the ways that we should look at these is there a soccer field or a baseball field where there would be families that bring other children who are not playing that have something to do while the game is going on. They're playing, your big brother's playing soccer and you have two little kids that have something to do. So parents can kind of, have an eye on both kids where they're going. So again, I think we prioritize, we want to think about that too, what we've already got as far as the structure at the parks and what we can do to enhance that, for families to go up there and have all their children with them.
Another thing that was talked about at the last meeting was the safety concerns. And I was concerned after hearing some of that. And so we did some investigation and some research on that. And Dan, do you want to maybe touch on some of that's
Well, I can only really speak to the shelter. Me and Brian looked at it. Not gonna fall out tomorrow, but definitely put on our radar. So going like this, there's some up the corner of far corner, you take the posts and move. And then there's a few other posts like that where so it's just certainly not in great shape, but it'll be fine.
So if we get another shelter on this side of town in fall of 27, this shelter, we believe that, this shelter as a.
Yeah.
So I think that's positive.
Yeah, and again, I think Dan is waiting to hear back from some of the larger businesses and, to see what we can do as far as, partnering with the community too, to get some funding for some of these things.
And our feedback's been pretty positive, but we don't have any specific numbers yet,
Right, so it
unfortunately.
makes it hard to have the full discussion. We don't know what the full numbers are too, that we have.
Well, right, and they're also waiting to see what we're going to find out as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the companies that reached out to, they were out of town or they were on spring break, so a lot of them are kind of getting back to me and saying, hey, catch up. So I'm hoping by the end of next week I have a really good grasp on what who's willing to, maybe not a dollar figure specifically, but at least know how much we can basically give it.
Yeah. So are you suggesting, Matt, that as a board, we come up with a number? Like a firm number for what we want to spend as far as the village goes?
Well, I think we have maybe a targeted number that is targeted, but yet if donations come in less than anticipated, we would have to dial that back. And if donations come in, better, then we can add some items back in. So that's kind of the way I would envision it. I penciled something out. I went to the Parks Committee meeting last month. I heard this board on saying what we felt comfortable maybe cutting and what we felt was most important and what we wanted to expand from what architecture said. And I kind of, I forgot where we were. And so some of the information in here is based on some of those changes. So there's the March 7th numbers that are where we had the last meeting. And then there's the March 31st numbers, which is based on some changes. And those are mostly noted in the comments. Not tons changed at Lisbon Community Park, about $110,000 drop. I think Mark said, that shelter might have been a little bit oversized. So I think it's 2 picnic tables reduced in size. The kayak and the lower level parking lot, I think, are the other reductions here, if I remember.
Yeah, and I think we're waiting to
correctly.
hear about a grant for the kayak thing.
So we can either, if we get that grant funding, we add it back in, we're still ahead at the end of the day. So I know that I didn't remember who Dan told me that there was 2 different board members who were on different sides of that grant. We'll talk about that as the next item and see how we move forward on that. So that was the big change at Lisbon Community Park. Lisbon Oak Park, if I heard everyone right, that there really wasn't any changes to be had there. Everyone was kind of in agreement.
Yeah, the parking lot had to be
Right.
addressed, yeah.
Here, it's labeled as Town Hall Park. I think this was largely based on, this was a plan that was years down the line. It included new bathrooms going in where we're sitting. So I looked at this as more forward thinking as opposed to, we couldn't do everything that was on the plan for 2027.
Yeah.
So what we have here for the 396,000 is
What is the total number for the 31st changes?
so it's the 396,000 is on the bottom of the sheet.
I see that, but what is for all of it?
So 396,000 includes the demolition of the shelter and the playground, adding new swings with a good surface, and putting in 4 pickleball courts and 1 tennis court.
Yeah, I'm talking about for all the park projects. What did that do to the overall number?
Just so the net reduction from this park, we were at 1.
No, all of them.
All of them saying like
All of them.
total.
Oh, I don't think that's here.
Yeah, we went from 1.4 to 396.
Right, so
Like half that.
that's $1 million reduction there.
Yeah.
So $1 million reduction there. Lisbon Community Park was just over $100,000 reduction. And then Stony Hillquest was getting rid of most everything. I think if I heard you right, Mark, you thought that made sense. And if we're trying to prioritize, in my numbers, I had that. But so that's another 100. So takes the 1 million plus the 100,000 plus 160,000. That's a $1.2 million, $1.3 million reduction. But then in my numbers, we add back on 200,000 to Stone Family to, again, address some of the points that Mark and the rest of the board brought up about, I don't think Blake was aware of the parking lot issues, the ball field fencing, and I think we all agreed that the shelter there was undersized.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, the Stone Family, the number there is 742,000. Blake was really responsive last week until he wasn't. So this includes the changes that are noted in the comments section, but it does not include the increase in the size of the shelter. So I think Dan and I kind of looked at that and we thought it would probably go up to around 850,000. Right? Is that what we recall?
I think we figured if we're gonna do similar size to LTP, maybe cutting 8 feet off of the side of it, at LTP, it would be around 400,000. If we increase that number to, yeah.
If one wasn't passing down, I've got a summary of kind of what I'm talking about. So again, this is not coming from Dan. This is just, these are kind of my thoughts.
Dan, did you have any luck? You were going to talk to Sussex about this one and by.
Yeah, I talked to Jeremy. He said unfortunately they have put a ton of money into their parks over the past 5 years. He said that they're tapped out for at least 5 years. He said it was a legitimate question and wanted to, but they're
So here.
I won't even tell you how much their impact fees are.
So I know we're kind of jumping around. So that bottom line number for all 5 parks.
Yikes.
3.8.
Mm-hmm.
So my summary is more or less largely what is in the packet already.
Yep.
And it's based on what the feedback of the 5 of us at the last meeting and the Parks Committee. But it still totals 3.9 million, and we're talking about a, $2.2 million loan. So on the back page of this, I kind of have how we would kind of get to the 3.9 million. We have $2.2 million loan. We have park impact fees of a little over $300,000 that'll increase, 12 to 18 months from now. I heard that we don't want to do much in-house, but we can do a little bit in-house. So that's something. We're not going to touch playground equipment. We're not going to touch improvements. We're not doing anything with improvements. And then the balance of this is just kind of what we're hoping to get in donations. I mean, and I think other people have looked at what the cost of came in. Blake at Parkitecture, he's making his estimates on an average basis. We live right next to a whole bunch of quarries and asphalt plants. Our bids are going to come in hopefully better. We're going to get donations. We think there's a large donation or two out there. I'm comfortable moving forward with kind of this, $3.9 million. Asking Parkitectures to do that based on this. And if we all of a sudden in the next month or two come in really short, then we have to circle back up and say what we want to cut. And if we can get more in donations, then we add some of these items, we increase the size of something, or we do all the playground at Stony Hillquest Park or something else. But I think this is in my mind, this is a reasonable target that I'm comfortable with.
Explain the park impact fees.
I think probably Dan could do a better job.
Building lot, creating lot. We charge impact fee that goes on to what people go to the park. The village board along the park, they 6 years ago maybe made a park planning document and did a study that showed various pieces are either planning or equipment, that sort of thing. That need assessment then calculated into what need for home or home, and that homeowner.
A new home or existing homes too?
New lot.
New lots.
And there was no restriction on how that money could be used, right? It could be used for improvements on existing parks. It doesn't have to necessarily.
It can't be used for improvements on existing. It has to be used for new land.
New
shelter, parking lot expansion. So how we would use it and where it would be allocated to. It would just be, an account you would have.
Okay, so there wouldn't be, so we wouldn't be, okay,
If we had
yeah.
$3
no,
million in impact fees and we're spending 3.8, we'd have to be concerned, but 300,000 is less than 10% of what we're spending. So we're definitely making enough new improvements where
Understood.
that won't be an
We
issue.
have a spectrum of impact that I didn't do with it, but it's reserved for buildings, so we could potentially use some of those for building structures. Or there's even additional. I show 176,000. I'd have to pull up the actual fund balance in our software. That is the tracking.
Yeah, so if that was the case in the number, then the new shelter in Lisbon Community Park would trigger that.
Do you really
Yeah, I
think
think
we're? Yeah, no. You really think we're getting 1.3 in donation? A pretty reasonable number, or is that just like a wish list?
I would say both, but Dan, I
I have no idea. No numbers were discussed. I did just reach out to Hallquist. They seemed interested, but they had to take it up the chain, you know, so I'm hoping to hear back from them. Land and Stone, obviously, they're usually very generous to the village, but I don't know where their head's at as far as whether they'd rather donate material or donate cash.
And that's what I was saying, so we got material and cash right here.
Kane and Dolan, I'm hoping to reach out to them. They said they're gonna contact me next week, so I'd like to give them a call either tomorrow or Friday. See where their head is. But I know Lynn just got back from vacation, so he had a chance to, wrap his mind around everything. And then Kane and Dolan would be great if they can donate.
Are we still considering like naming rights?
I don't know that we're in favor of like renaming a park as much as we are. If someone donates for the shelter, we'll put up, a nice plaque
Yeah,
that
dedicated
that
by-
says,
Oh, it's family.
so Land and Stone, shelter.
And Hallquist is one of those where I talked about the park already, so you already have
That's
your
true.
right. But that's also one that I'm gonna schedule to do it, after they can pull out with, so that might be an opportunity to say, hey, you guys don't. So type and they can be client parking lot or. But to answer your question, Rob, I don't have a dollar amount.
No.
But I'm gonna have a lot more of a negotiating tool. We solidify a number.
I think if we were by chance to get a large donation in line with maybe that top line from one company, which I think the rest would certainly would be very achievable, and we could probably add in some additional items. But if we come in dramatically lower than that, then we'd have some issues. But I think the indications are that this one entity that we keep on offering, and we haven't really taken them up on anything over recent years, that they're willing to make a sizable contribution. So I think Dan and I anticipate having a more solid answer at the next meeting on that. I've talked to the individual over there, and they're fine doing just a cash donation, especially if we can have other quarries providing, the stone, and that might be an easier ask from some of the others.
Amrise, I did reach out to, they said absolutely they're willing to help out when they can refer to that. We figure out what our contributions are. I can sit down with them at a table with better, tell them like, hey, this is the priority, this is the budget, where that would be the thing for land. Which is why I said this is really very much tied to the it.
Mark?
No, how did we get from the March 7th one on Town Hall to the March 31st one? How did we get all those lopped off from on the March 7th one, it was at 1.4?
Yeah, so the difference there is pretty much reducing. We chopped off I chopped off all, so this is based on the meeting, and this is me asking Blake to make these reductions. It's only doing those items that we talked about, not doing the shelter, not doing the playground. When we talked at the last meeting, he said, and I remember it was the board said we can't do nothing, and he said, give people swings, that's the number one thing that they want if their kids are playing baseball over there. So that he has the $20,000 for the swings, that EWF surface, that's the soft surface, I assume.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not going through every single line item. Like, I think Dan's point, well, there's a $5,000 for the volleyball court relocation still in there. I don't know that we reached agreement on that, or that we need to relocate it, or we need to spend money on relocating it. So, I mean, by no means are any of these numbers finalized or still not up for future debate, but I think we're getting
Right, we're not
closer.
committing, we're not committing to these, everything that's on here right now.
Right,
So we're
right.
just shooting for the moon.
It's a wish list.
Did that answer, enough?
Yeah, one thing I just want to throw out there too is we already have a very limited park staff with seasonal, so just keep in mind that the more amenities we do add, that's also more maintenance time that we don't have. Don't be surprised when we get a budget request later this year for additional staff.
Well, that's a good point. If we did put in 6 pickleball courts, how does that maintenance look?
When they're new,
Yeah.
I'd say very little, but there's maintenance and replacing nets and future painting and stuff like that. But to kind of go off of Mark's thing too, as far as operational costs, also for supplies, like our bathrooms now are all concrete, where we just will cleaner, hose them down, they're good to go. Or we have full flush toilets and cleaner and all the other stuff that's gonna have to go along with that too. It's just something to kind of keep in mind.
What are like the highest maintenance items in a park for you? Like grass cutting and
Weeds are a huge maintenance item because it's very labor intensive. And then probably cutting grass, and then I would say like tree maintenance, removal, stuff like that. Probably like the top.
we could save some money then on do more prairie style in some spots that we don't need.
Yeah, that was talked about here. Is that the only park they talked about? Was Umar Prairie was here?
I believe I had mentioned to Blake too at Stone Family. It's kind of a natural. We've let it grow now, but adding actual prairie flowers on Stone Family from was it Forest View cul-de-sac down to the playground area.
Okay.
I guess all I'm saying is don't think we're not going to be adding operational positions with this, because that it's not going to be part of the borrow, but there is going to be an operational impact going forward. There's no way Mike's current staff could do.
I could have used another person 5 years ago.
Yeah, so
Have
we've been talking about this since we split into two divisions within Public Works. Mike came out of, we'll call it street side of it, moved to parks. He's essentially full-time over there. We gracefully get him back for snow plowing and stuff, but he's still got snow plowing to do in parks. We had parks, paths, parking lots. Just I want it to be a surprise to anybody that have operational costs because of this. To a good point. It's probably going to be a contract to do cleaning. I don't know. We haven't even explored that yet. As far as facilities cleaning. Is it facilities? Is it staff?
You should be cleaning the bathrooms daily now as it is, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we have one, like I said, and it's the toilets and a concrete block, so.
I mean, here we're talking about going to two. I mean,
Yeah,
so
yeah, but more toilets, more sinks, more, you know,
Yeah.
we don't have sinks right now, you know, so stuff like
Sure.
that. And then there's, you know, like I just had a guy stop, a salesman stop in today and talking about bathrooms, and he's like, he obviously sells to all municipalities, and he's like, you're gonna be amazed on the amount of stuff people flush down the toilet that, you know, that you're gonna have to dig out. And all the other stuff that goes along, with it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, also too, just with these amenities too, we're gonna have a transaction component to it through automation. The bathroom is gonna be unlocked by a person, are they gonna be unlocked by automation?
What is the matter with that?
It's the reindeer on the roof.
I'm sorry, don't mean to cut you off. It's just so irritating.
You know,
Have them look at it.
I guess that's one thing is we gotta think forward on that stuff. Do we even have the facilities to support, you know, the infrastructure to support that kind of stuff in some of the parks? Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you don't want to go there on a holiday and unlock for a rental.
No, it's high on the list.
Be nice to set up for things like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any automation in here for facility use. I think we should definitely have some kind of technology contingency built in,
Well, there's security too.
security, cameras, lights. So just some things I think the plan is missing that I don't want to creep on the project because we have time to
Would
plan
we,
for it.
would we think about that as part of the spend on park improvements? Because that would be an ongoing maintenance issue, so that would be more a budget item. It's gonna increase
Yeah,
the
I
budget.
guess the reason I'm bringing it up is because if we leave it to an operational thing, it's gonna keep getting kicked down the road. It's not gonna be.
Well, it'll be a cost for cameras and Wi-Fi in there and that.
So that's, I guess that's my point to bring it up is that that's something that should be included in the capital project, not an operational side.
So
the
what
cost
do
of-
we think
yeah.
a number looks like there?
I don't know. I guess that's one thing that I think these plans are limited is that there is no security aspect for, you know, just automation. I don't know if that's inside of the finer numbers, but
I mean, the cost of the shelters are huge. I would, I mean, I don't think, I think I mean, it includes the lighting and whether or not it includes like the points, I mean, I think the points you make up are valid that we need to address. We do have a 10% contingent, we have $300,000 contingency in these numbers, so I would, you know, that should account for
But yeah,
some of that.
but I mean,
Not all of that.
so we're putting in a nice baseball field up at LCP. Gonna schedule use. Right now, it's. You know, like. Mike can't schedule and prepare fields, so I'm just saying. Adding these nice things, we're gonna have to think about operational costs too.
I think when Blake was talking about having a court, you know.
There anybody on Zoom?
Yeah, having, maybe it was just Mark, I don't know. Having, one court here, which was gonna be a flex court between the pickleball and tennis court. And how we were gonna function with that and taking the nets over. Yeah, can we turn off that one?
Is the one on the podium on?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the idea of the automatic doors was always
I remember us talking about it, yeah.
I knew that
Okay.
he's not gonna go in and unlock and lock the doors at the time, so. We're still very, these are preliminary numbers. They have to go through the engineering design. All that to get firmer numbers and to do a narrower scope on what we. security, type of toilet, do we want 3 separate bathrooms, do we want men's and women's bathroom? A lot of stuff that goes into it. So that, to address just the automatic door locking, which I agree, that would be a nightmare. As far as reservation fields, well, we're not gonna. We have one. Replicating one. And as far as like the reservation, the shelters. We've already got to care of that.
Right.
Again, we're not adding any new shelters, really. I mean, I'm sure we're adding one new shelter and we're taking away one.
Right.
But they're gonna be attractive and people are gonna wanna use them because they're.
I hope, right.
I'm just saying that's the point of putting in new amenities is
Right.
Get used.
to attract people. I mean, nobody's coming, maybe
We
people
also
are.
have to look at our kids. So we're a little lower. As far as cameras go and that kind of stuff, that's a question, I don't know. You know, if that's a kind of a future 5-year plan that we wanna get that addressed, but right now we wanna.
All right.
That would be adding whole new infrastructure, you know, to get servers, routers, building, and then the cameras themselves, so.
I guess I wouldn't recommend putting in all this nice equipment without putting security in it.
Well, true.
Okay, so, I mean, I have cheaper ones, so I have to physically pull the SD card out, and then, scroll through 2 weeks worth of photos to see.
I would not recommend.
So anyways, finishing up on the flex sports, I mean, we talked about that with Mike and with Joe Osterman and others who are pickleball, tennis. I mean, we don't want something like that, even though Blake was talking about the appeal of that. So we want to be respectful of Mike's time. So you have a dedicated court for this, dedicated court for that. I think when we move forward with this, we keep that in mind, what we can do to minimize Mike's time. You mentioned a couple of weeks ago you were having some issues finding summer staff. Hopefully that's not an issue moving forward. I mean, how have you?
I haven't gotten any.
So it's out there if anyone's listening. Mike's still looking. Yep.
We raised it 15 an hour. Last year.
Was that on par with normal? Or was that one of those wages that got left behind?
Sussex is actually 14, but I know Heartland's like 17, 18. Germantown was 17. Falls is 18. I don't.
Yeah, everyone turn it off and then we'll see if. So they're going in home computers.
Right. So nothing's gonna come up out of it. I'll try back on.
Okay, just turn it back off. Mark, turn yours off. See if we can catch this. Now there's nothing. There's nothing. They're off. Yes, yeah. Well, this is the worst it's been in.
Okay.
For the last year, so we'll have to
I can put it
do
in
something.
purpose call.
No.
Yeah, I'll try pulling all the cards out, kind of cleaning them off and pushing them back in.
So
do you suggest before we move forward then, Mark, to put some kind of dollar figure in here is the.
Yeah, I just don't want,
Contingency or whatever, whatever we.
I don't even know what that would cost. That's something for architecture to look into.
So so I guess the question is, do we move forward with what's here and then, I mean, again, we're not committing to anything and then we dig deeper into those costs and see what we're looking at? I don't know, I'm
I
just,
can reach out to Park Factor, see if they have, I mean, I don't know if you do it for every park, but. We'll see, probably where you're. That and they're like probably. So.
Do we have any issues now with vandalism? Is that on those playground equipment or?
Lisbon Oaks is still a problem. Is that used to be a big problem?
Lisbon Oaks hasn't been a problem. LCP's been hit hard the last 3-4 years. Not so much at Stone Family, a little bit there with the new playground. But usually LCP, it's the big one. I think just because it is kind of hidden, you know, you can go there and like, see them. I would think.
Is it just carving stuff in the playground equipment or is it?
Like Stone Family was a kid with like an e-bike, I assume, that kind of was spinning the tires on the turf and wore out the grass, stuff like that. LCP got hit really hard like 3 years ago. I mean, they put like 14 holes in my cold storage building. They were bad. They hard, broke some windows. So yeah. And all of them. A lot of kids like doing build, right?
So I don't think that we're not committing to a specific number tonight. We're committing to doing a large scale project. I mean, and in a certain general concept, that we would have to come back and revisit and reprioritize if certain items come in higher or lower, or donations don't come in as high as anticipated.
I'd like.
I think we need to commit to spending, my opinion is we need to commit to spending, absolutely, no less than 2.5 million. I mean, or, $3 million. I mean, it's just a matter of how far up we go from there. I mean, the $2.2 million that we had planned for the loan, I don't feel as though we should take anything less than that from the loan. And there's no reason not to spend the $300,000 in impact fees. And so that's 2.5 million right there. And I think if we only received $500,000 on donations and cost reduction, I would be disappointed. That's 3 million right there. So I think we can get closer to 4 million than 3 million at the end of the day. Can we get over 4 million? If we can get to 4.2, I mean, then we get.
right,
we
then we
could
can throw other things.
We can get everything done except for everything here. And
right.
If we do move forward at the new village hall, then this gets rolled in after that.
The one thing I do want to just mention really quick, because we did the survey, we have the survey results. And one of the 5 things that ranked on here was trails. And we haven't talked about any kind of trail improvement or maintenance or anything on this either.
I think there was some at Lisbon Community Park, but those aren't going to be a high cost item. Mike, what can you speak to on the trails?
As far as adding trails?
Well, just one of the high ranking items on the community service survey that we did, and the trails and the pathways ranked very high, like right behind bathrooms actually.
Okay.
So I don't know that we talked about like trail improvements or adding trails or just.
And maybe better marking trails and having trail maps out there, because I mean, people don't even necessarily know that we have a trail network at LCP.
I just wanted to throw it out there because it's just, again, I want to make sure.
I mean, the amount of trails, I mean, we have like 4.2 miles of trails. Just as, I don't see the need to add more, but I do agree with Matt. Like, I've never understood the marking of the trails, like how they go but I haven't had the time to kind of sit and figure out how to make this make sense. So I don't know. They really go in depth from what I read of what they're playing with the trails.
So if you go to a park park entrance, sometimes there's a map of the park. You know, you are here and it shows,
Right.
hey, here's the pickleball courts, here's the trail network. That could be great for LCP.
And like when you go to Lapham's marked really well.
Yeah.
When you can even use like Onyx on your phone for an app and just drive around the trails and it'll give you a nice map you can print out.
I don't know how many people have Onyx on their phone.
That's a free app.
I know. It's like a hunter's thing mostly.
No. Or TV. Yeah, you can also, you might have to pay for it to get a nice.
It's a thought, Mike. So on your very short to-do list, maybe you could throw that on there.
Yeah, I know I've been working on different signage, but I've been kind of holding off because we don't have, like a lot of people, when they call like reserve shelter, they'll ask which one is that because there's a sign on the shelter, but as you drive through the park, you don't know unless you've been there before or used it, you don't know if that's the hilltop, the hex shelter, the down under. There's really no signage. So I've been kind of working on that, but I've been holding back because I don't know what's gonna change as far as, you know, bathroom location, kickball, all that stuff. So I've been kind of working on it, but I haven't pulled the trigger because I'm kind of waiting to see what this all takes.
The one thing, as we keep on debating and fine tuning things, this is going to be a multi-month process. We're committing to a certain dollar amount. I mean, a minimum, so that we, you know, we take out the loan, we have to commit to respending that much. Is also the timing, though. I mean, I think we heard from Blake that we can anticipate. I mean, trying to get a lot of this built by and have a grand opening in the fall of 27. I would love to. I want to keep that as our target.
I agree.
So, Dan, you and Mike and Blake, I mean, keep on us as a board to keep on moving forward with whatever we need to do to, you know, make that happen. Maybe not every park, but hopefully everything. I think because there's efficiencies if we do it all together.
Yep. And I agree, because I think Becky even made the comment, like, we've been talking about this forever. Let's get it done. Let's do it now because it really needs to be done, number one. And I think we're at a good spot to get it done. So I agree with you to keep on schedule.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The borrow needs to be done this year, the debt follow structure.
Oh.
Network, so we have to move forward with the borrow. I just need a number to plug.
Okay.
And we're looking for decent amount of donations. And I think we can get them. We have great community support. But if we go on to that item, we have $500,000 in the capital budget, which if you've looked at it closely, it's earmarked for roads, and paving, but it if needed could be shifted to parks. I don't want to do that, and we're not voting on that tonight, but we have left ourselves some flexibility if we need to increase it from the 2.2 to the 2.7.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's not something that is my goal. I'd like to see this come from the sources we kind of are targeting.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, do you want me to reach out to Blake about seeing if there is a way to get a security system to your shelters if we sort of?
Yeah, I don't think that will hold up anything here.
Well, if they're gonna do work to either run, they're gonna have to run a septic line or a septic line definitely at the shelter up here. Might be
Right, I just don't know if they know what our utility capability is at each park. I don't know if fiber is available at LCP. I mean, if we're gonna have to do cards, satellite.
Yeah, we can do air fiber dish from where the parks building is now, if there's a clear line of sight to up to a mile. And then you don't need wires.
I mean, the way that wireless internet is these days, I mean, I don't know, that's what I use at my house, and it's
but you gotta be able to
excellent.
get a source.
Yeah.
So what do they have right now at the park?
Just
As far
spectrum.
as internet,
Yeah,
just said my maintenance building.
So we could put a point-to-point dish in the maintenance building to the new structure. And that'd be a wireless connection between the two. And then you'd have internet on.
Got right here.
Got to rig it around.
I think we're getting ahead of it a little bit
Yeah.
right now for what we need
No,
to
I
do. Yeah.
agree. I don't think we need to nail any of that down. I don't want to bring it up as a line item thing. It's just, it needs to be.
No, I think it's a good point.
Discuss it with Clayton, see what his thoughts are. I don't want it to hold up this project, good one.
And I guess fuel surcharges are coming around now that diesel's $5 a gallon or over.
I'm worried about.
So that could eat up your 8% or 10% contingency like that.
Well, prices fell 15% today, so largest single day decrease. So
Yeah.
you don't know where things are going to be a
Yeah.
year from now. Said by Friday, gas prices should be back down a little
I
bit.
waited for a reason. On fumes right now.
Have you heard? I mean, so this will be back on the agenda for next month. We need.
I don't need a motion, I need a motion for item B. And hopefully by next meeting, I'll have a lot more numbers to give you guys outside of the ball.
So I tried to listen to what everyone was saying at the last meeting, both the five of us and the Parks Committee. And to your point, Mark, where did the reductions here come from? I think I answered that, but is there anything that I took out that you're opposed to, or anything that I didn't take out that should have been taken out from? And Paula, you were at both meetings. I mean, anything that might have been missed on either way?
No, I think it was a pretty thorough discussion between the two groups, and I think what you have down here, again, if we could get everything that's on here, it would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot with what you have on here.
All right, are we ready to move on to the next item?
I just want to say something, because I know that Lisbon Community Park is the premier park, I think, in the area. We all can agree, because that's used a lot, but I don't want to see that. If we run into issues with how much money we can get and the loans and stuff, when we have to revamp and start looking at what we need to cost, what we need to cut, I still would like a lot of those smaller parks to get a lot of stuff and not taken away from them to give to community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Spread the wealth around.
Absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
hopefully we don't have to cut, but if we do,
Exactly.
there's a lot more room to cut at LCP.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at 3.9 million and
I know,
2.1 million of that is at LCP.
exactly.
That might be where it has to come from, but
Okay.
yeah, well,
Okay,
I
just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have to talk about the grant stuff?
that's a different item on the agenda.
Oh, I thought we were.
Okay.
No, we're on 9A right now.
Oh,
Grant is 10A.
yeah.
All right, so are we ready to move on from
Yeah.
9A?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So 10A is discussion and necessary action regarding authorizing architecture to perform grant writing services for a DNR non-traditional recreation grants. Now, Dan, you've got a memo here.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this to the committee or the board to kind of get their take on this. It's gonna fund some of the items that I don't know how high on the priority list they are, but the kayak launch, the platform for fishing or whatever it's called, the archery tower and range, and then potentially the paved path to get to that location, and possibly the parking lot on the lower level. It's a lot of items, and the grant would cover 50% match, 50%. That includes if we get any donated funds, such as if go and pave the lower parking lot. Or they consider the cost of that as part of our contribution, then so I brought it to the board. It's really up to you. I have kind of mixed reviews from the board members and whether they want to move forward with it or not. It is at a cost of $2,000, and we're not guaranteed to get it, but if we do get it, it would be a huge chunk of change for items that I don't know the priority of.
How much money? I'm sorry.
How much money?
Yeah, you just, yeah,
2,000.
2,000?
But it's for stuff that we took off of the,
Mm-hmm.
that we weren't gonna, so we still have to pay 50%. It's not like we just get the cash for the parks.
No, but
We have to spend it on the boat launch and.
you have to spend it on.
Mm-hmm.
But if we we're already planning on doing was the pier included in this?
No.
I don't know. No.
Okay, but
All taken out.
no, in the grants, is the pier included in the grants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the archery, I know there was, I mean, Linda was maybe not as much in favor of the archery thing as some of the other, as I did walk over there and I've heard Mike's comments and I've heard my first time ever looking at it was after the Easter egg hunt. I don't remember looking at it in the past.
I have never saw.
And so I could see, I mean, how it could be greatly improved. And if it's used as much as Mike is saying, I would like, I mean, I thought that the majority of the board was on board with keeping that in ideally. And if we can get that paid for and some of these other items paid for that are still in, we could come out certainly ahead. Especially if we're getting stone and asphalt, donations that count towards our 50%.
Yeah.
So I didn't remember, I know Paula and Mark, you were on opposite sides. I didn't know who was on which side though. Which of you want to start?
Well, I was in favor of going for the grant. I mean, I think that, the more amenities we can do, the better. And if we can get a 50% match and to Dan's point, get some donated paving and stuff, that's gonna just, knock the cost way down. And if we don't, then we don't do the project at all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's a $2,000 investment. I think the upside is bigger than the downside on it. I guess that would be my take.
And did Blake indicate did he handicap what the likelihood of being successful is?
They never come there. He thought it was a good project to put up for. He definitely was optimistic, but I don't say that he was cautiously optimistic.
What do you think,
They're
Mark?
grants.
I mean, without even seeing there's no information on what the grant requirements are. It doesn't say it's a guaranteed grant. It could be discretionary. Also too, we have to put up at least 30 grand. I would say if these things were more solid on our list, I would be in support of writing for it, but these things that it's writing for are things we agreed on the last meeting that we don't need. They were just luxuries. So I don't see it as a benefit to write for it, knowing that we're likely not gonna get it. I just reflect back to like the recreation path on Lake 5 and,
I mean, the archery thing would be nice, but then again, that's only $8,000 to start with. That's not.
Well, if you're doing just that, then.
Yeah, the pier and the kayak and all that's what's really the only thing that would be worth doing it. And that wasn't super high on my priority list of stuff to do. That's more of a niche thing.
What do you think, Linda?
I don't know if it's worth doing at this time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, there are items that you can try and do. Like our river fund or capital fund.
I just feel like if we don't do it now, we're not going to, like, unless it's part of this project,
but
it's just gonna get put on the back burner.
but at the same time, this isn't part of the project. We can always add this after we get into the project too.
Yeah, if we get more donations and stuff.
Yeah.
But we would, if we wait to do that, then we miss the grant, then we pay the full cost.
But is the grant gonna be around next year? That's what I'd like to know. Like, is this a historical grant or is this like a one-time grant?
I think this grant comes up next year. Well, and there are other grants that the deadlines have already passed that were 31st, so there could be grants earlier in next year's cycle that we can go for. Just keep in mind that when those grant funds are awarded, it might be a little later, so we might go.
Well, and would we have to commit before the grant would be decided to, like, what that timing look like?
yeah.
Because we wouldn't want to commit and then not get it, like. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would that timing work out?
No, I don't know. So we would commit.
Well,
We have to
would
commit to doing something before.
right, knowing if we got the grant or not.
And it would cost us full.
Right, instead of 50% of the cost.
Yeah, I don't.
What do you think the chances of getting it again? I'm sorry. I mean, it's at
Call it 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah.
You know, and it costs 2,000.
People are applying for
Yeah.
them. The cutoff is the end of this month though, so I got it on the agenda.
Mhm.
Everything has that order now.
I mean, Paula, I would agree, I would be, I would be in favor of it, but I understand Mark's concerns. I mean, you hate to see the requirements. Well, you have to build, you only need a 6-foot wide path and make you build it 10 feet wide. I mean, you know, silly stuff like that.
I don't know, I guess I'm depending on Blake's professionalism and understanding how the grant would work, that he wouldn't offer us something that would be
I think
out of the scope of what
$2,000
we're
is
doing.
probably to figure out if it, to write it and figure that all out. I mean, what are we paying
Could be.
$2,000 for otherwise?
Yeah. I mean, that goes to Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know,
It's an
grant writing is a
all-in
thing.
cost, right? I mean, yeah.
DNR grant.
So we don't lose anything if we have him do it, if he does other grants. Am I reading you right?
No, we should be 2,000 on top of.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a through cost, yeah.
Oh,
We kind of knew that when we went into the
Yeah.
contract that they offer.
Yeah. yeah, yeah,
Well, you know, and the Parks Committee, we talk about grants all the time.
yeah.
And, you know, I think one of the things, years ago is they had somebody, I think John Brayton, who had to write grants, because especially there's like a
John
way
took
that you need
took
to do
classes
it.
on that, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was part of it, that you
Yeah.
you can't just have somebody decide to do it one day and do it properly. And
Exactly.
and if you don't write them right,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get them.
And as the head of the committee for parks, I guess I would go along with it if you thought it was worth it.
I mean, if we get it and we get paving donated and we end up paying, you know, $10,000 for $30,000 project, then it's well worth it. But you know, that's if,
Yeah, so.
right?
And the Parks Committee was excited about the lower level parking lot expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, if
go
we
either
move
way.
the summer festival to the, you know, top, like we already talked about, then we have the new parking lot on the top. I don't know. I mean, Mike, you'd love to see that lower level parking lot as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess as far as like, the whole project, you know, if like you can get it done 50% cheaper, you know, for, like they were saying, you know, it's never gonna get it any cheaper than that, so. If it's gonna, someday it's gonna be repaved, someday the pier is gonna have to be replaced. You know, it's only gonna go up in cost.
I mean, there's good arguments for it either way.
Right.
I don't know how much further you can take the Bark River beyond Lake Five Road. With the damming there, I mean, how much further can?
You mean Mill Pond?
Main Street,
Yeah, you can go to the
Mill Pond Dam Park.
Okay.
So that's
But
about
then you
it.
have to like turn around then.
Yeah. Cause then going the other way, it just gets in
Yeah.
it goes past my subdivision, it's like 2 and 3 inches of water.
Okay.
It's, I
Then
mean, that's
then it hits a
something.
culvert on hillside. I mean, you ain't getting a kayak past it.
But I mean, once you get downstream past to the dam, you can't go any further, right?
You can portage.
I guess my thought was, I don't know how many kayakers use Bark River, but we are going to have Lake Five Road Bridge being redone next year. So that will provide an avenue for kayakers to go under Lake Five, as opposed to have to pull out their kayaks and then walk across. But keep in mind, you might get more traffic, but if it's only, you can only go half a mile, then you're turning around, so I don't know.
How long do people I mean, what's a kayak trip? I mean, if you're going a half mile there and a half mile back, I guess there's different people that do different lengths. I mean, but that's something.
That's something. I mean, we do paddle boarding and we usually go a couple miles at least on the lake, but.
But we could do that from here, right? If you go a half mile one way, half mile the other way, that's 2 miles.
1/2 mile plus 1/2 mile.
But you're coming back, right? Going a half mile down and then a half
Half
mile
mile
back
back.
and then you're going a half mile up and a half mile back.
Yeah, you
I think we're getting lost in the cattails here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's kind of decide now.
A number, we need a number.
We need a number.
We need a, are we
Right.
voting in favor of the grants or? Paula, do you want to make a motion to approve and see if it has a second? Or do you want to let it go?
Let's just let it go for now.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll let it go for now.
Okay.
We have a lot of bigger fish to fry, and if it comes up again next year, we can always add it in.
Okay. All right.
And if there's other ones that, because we missed a bunch of them too, we can get a better feel for Blake if there's a better thing to do. I feel like maybe this one's a little rushed.
Or can we ask,
Because
can
of
we
the
ask,
timing
Blake-
that we're at right now.
can we ask Blake to give us the details of the grant so we can look it over and
Yeah.
make
I think
sure
Mark
it's not, we
makes a
need
good
a.
This
This
grant is
is-
only available this month.
No, I'm saying for future ones.
Yeah, for future ones, again, he was kind of the one that came up.
Yeah.
He wanted to get in front of me as quick as he could.
Yeah, so this is not a do it today or don't do it ever. This
Yeah.
is not do it today. We can maybe do it next
Yeah.
year.
Well, then we can see if their kayak launch is 3 times the size of the one we quoted here.
Yeah.
There may be other grants throughout this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I will say.
Definitely worth looking at.
All right.
We're
We're
still
fine with that too.
Go ahead, Mike.
We're still gonna get
Fall,
along.
You guys see a lot of DNR grants.
We're still getting a lot of play right.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
I think that's the main.
Yeah, for sure.
Mike had something to add here.
Usually in fall, I see a lot of DNR grants come through like October, November time. Hit or miss what if it would be useful for us, but
Oh.
usually late fall.
Well, maybe we'll like put an agenda on the park committee meeting and just we'll kind of keep an eyeball on them and see if there's something that looks interesting that's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, I always look at them every month,
Yeah,
kind of see what's out there.
yeah.
Okay.
Just let us know if something comes up that looks
Yep.
like, yeah, good, great. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay,
All right, so you don't want to make a motion?
nope.
And no one else does either. Hearing that, we'll move on to item 10B, which is discussion and necessary action regarding the debt issuance for capital projects and equipment. Dan?
I have a report drafted that shows a couple of different scenarios. Eller provided 2 different scenarios, which neither one of them are really gonna apply, but they're usually often. $200,000. But it does provide you with how our debt roll-off is structured and what the effect of the borrow amount would be. So, you go to table 3, it provides with a $3.76 million borrow. That would be
No, that's the principal. Oh, yeah, so that's the principal.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that that principle is taking into account their fees of the debt. Okay, so. The first chart is at 3.688 borrow. Really to fund that amount, if you look at my spreadsheet. You'd actually only need about 3.546 million. To account for what we're accounting for as the borrow, but just for numbers sake, you can look at how the debt is structured and you can see how our debt fall off and what percentage increases we go up year over year. And then the significant drop off that takes effect after. Actually, after
Is that table 3, Dan?
it's actually table 5 is
Okay, sorry, I'm not, okay, I'm with you now. Thank you.
And what's labeled as parks projects on these should be more so labeled as just everything. That's kind of could be confusing, but it's
highest amount. And then if we show another borrow that is a 4.188 million, which actually would be around a $4.450,000 borrow for that, and that would also show a significant debt reduction after 2020. That would be table 4, second to last page. You can see how our debt currently the 1.344, it would increase by 2.4% year over year. 2029 would go up 2.2%, and then it would significantly drop and then see up again. So in either scenario, you're gonna see a significant drop off in those last 2 years. So it's really the board on really how much they want to fund the parks project, because the other funding is already out. But
So that's the only question mark so far is the parks project. Everything else, the roads and all the other pieces are in there.
Well, yeah, so the $800,000 for the Lake 5 bridge that's $800,000 there.
Yep.
The 2.2 for the parks improvements, and then in between those two, there's the $500,000. So that represents the difference between the two scenarios.
I see.
Is including that $500,000 or excluding that $500,000. So when we talked in October, we didn't have that $500,000 in there. And now this secondary scenario has that extra $500,000 in there. So it's effectively like Dan said, it's the same until 2030 and 2031, where the drop off is it's obviously a larger, steeper cliff that it drops off if we take out $500,000 less. So if I heard you right, Dan, let me make sure I did. So we need if we go for include the $500,000, that's $4,046,000. Table 2 towards the end here has the 4.188. We can reduce that. We will reduce that to the 4,046,000 though.
correct. So the only difference then on this chart on the second to last page is that the last 2 years they have even more. So in this, it shows a $394,000 and a $390,000 drop off. I expect those to probably be like 8 years. Drop off.
Maybe 90,000. Yeah, more of a drop off.
So you
Okay.
can see like 4, 6,
Right. So but taking out the extra $500,000, that allows us to still do some projects. I mean, some road work in the next couple of years. Our next really kick at the cat for as far as taking out a loan is 2029 with this, unless you want to keep on, increasing taxes dramatically. So this a 2% increase in the debt service levy, if we have 2% growth, that's covered. So there's really not much of an increase. If we have 1% growth, then it's a 1% increase. So it's not, and I'm using rough numbers. It's going to be partially covered by growth. Maybe all covered, but more likely partially covered. But certainly a decent amount of it's covered.
Yeah.
So and we're spending a lot on the loan, and the way that they can structure this is nice because they fit it in with our existing debt. So I would prefer to take out the $500,000 now and have this nice even schedule, as opposed to sitting here a year or two from now, taking out a $500,000 loan and having to kind of fit that in with everything else. And Dan was comfortable with the way that this was laid out and explained, that it meets the requirements.
Yeah, the only thing we'd have to think about is where we want to spend that. When we present the Ellers, they're gonna probably want to know that those funds are gonna be spent over the next 2 years. So if it's not for parks and it's a road project, then we have to make sure next year we have a road project. Sitting waiting. Take care of it.
Do we have anything in the pipeline for that now?
Well, I think there's a lot of steel coating and coating.
Yeah, crack
Crack
filling.
filling. It looks like there's at least $500,000.
Oh, you got suck up a $500,000 quick there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we just don't spend anything. And so if we have a sinking fund in the operating budget, we don't spend anything out of that year. So we increase our sinking fund. We spend the borrowed money, and then our sinking fund increases so that the next year we don't have borrowed funds, we have a larger sinking fund money accumulated to spend on the project the year after.
Or if we have to make up for, typically we fund our road projects through our general fund. If we have an expense in next year's budget where we can't use $500,000 in general fund to pay for a road project, we'll have borrowed funds that we tap into to have balanced budget. There's a whole different bunch of ways you can use it, or you can look at, if you're this close to getting everything you want for the parks, but you're 100 grand shy. Fun. That's up to you guys. Decide where the money is spent.
So again, we have the flexibility, we have to spend, what we don't have the flexibility on is we have to spend the $500,000 in the next 2 years. But it's not like John's gonna be here next month and is asking for a commitment on where exactly that money is going.
No, but I mean, they're gonna wanna know when we apply for the loan, where an idea of where it's going. So I think what we have now is a permanent or road project to find.
Okay.
And we can present it that way, park contingency or a road project. It can be presented like that. Didn't just be one or the other. It could be either or.
I would put it as either.
Okay. Well, then that doesn't
As long as
pigeonhole us
Craig's
then
using
either.
it for things. That's when we don't.
And you like that idea better, Matt, because it's just kind of stabilizes things a little bit more.
Yeah, and I didn't want to just put it for parks because I think there has been a commitment to spend that 2.2 million, and I think we should try to get as much as we can in donations. And I think there's a lot of residents that want to spend a lot on parks, but there's probably just as much, if not more, residents that want, good roads to drive on. So we kind of need to prioritize both. So I think we can have that discussion. This leaves us the ability to have that discussion at a later time. We need to spend money on both. And I guess the other point is, Dan, I mean, you can talk about this a little bit, but I mean, $800,000 for the Lake 5 bridge, we think that's a reasonable number. But if there's a grant out there, that actual number might come in less, and that would free up some money for other road work as well. So I like this, that the total, I didn't like this months ago. Dan talked me into the 4,046,000. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm not putting words in your mouth, am I?
No, I mean, if you go higher.
And the reason I got comfortable with it was because of the flexibility in that $500,000.
Yeah.
All right, so any other questions, or are you ready for a motion? I mean, the way I would look at it is the motion would have to should be either for the $4,046,054 or $500,000 less than that.
I mean, I think we're probably all on the same consensus of the 500 is appropriate.
And it's
Okay.
flexible.
Hearing one dissent over there.
I'm a dissent. It's too iffy to me.
Which part of it don't you like?
I don't like the contingency, and I'd rather not have that in there and would have to deal with it down the road. I don't want it up on here. No.
But
would you be more Go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say, but you're gonna have to then deal with it outside of a capital project.
I'm not in favor of it.
So that'd be my only caution to it is if you're gonna deal with it, you might as well deal with it in a capital project side.
We don't know.
W-
I mean,
I think
we can do this, we can do that with it.
I would say-
So we can do that with it.
So we haven't borrowed for roads in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We are not putting away enough money right now to sustain our pavement program. We don't essentially have a pavement program right now. We have a pavement maintenance program that we're not fully funding. So eventually we are gonna have to borrow again. So this is, I wouldn't even look at it as a contingency. It's gonna be used. Whether it's maintenance or construction, it's gonna be used.
It's not a contingency. It's a contingency for the parks or it's a road project.
Or to the parks,
Would-
or the road,
would you-
whatever.
I'm not saying that I would,
To each.
I'm not saying I'm in favor of this change, but would you be in favor of it if it was labeled as just parks project? I'm sorry, just road project?
Yes.
I respect that. I like it the way it is here better, but I respect that I understand where you're coming from.
Mhm.
Man, I've been around Linda long enough to know that that was what she was thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
I yeah, I
Just one.
I don't have, I don't have a,
One vote.
I guess I don't have a problem with removing the park contingency. I don't think if there's a priority over it, it's gonna come to road projects first. I mean, I think our own maneuvering through the projects will soak up.
I think we're doing a great job, and I think the committee's doing a great job, and Dan, as far as trying to keep the costs intact and stuff like that. But I think we're spending an awful lot of money on the parks, which it needs it. I'm not saying it doesn't. I just don't like the idea that if it's roads, it's something different, because that's something that we have to do.
Right.
We have to maintain the road. There's no question about it.
But we're not recklessly spending money though.
Oh, I
mean,
not. Oh,
the-
no,
the rules
Yeah,
that were
yeah,
set forth by
yeah.
the state about
Yeah,
spending,
I know.
I mean, we're essentially, we are fiscally responsible for doing this. I mean, we wouldn't have inflated the number just
Yeah.
to borrow for the sake of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're borrowing with a strategy.
I
And
understand.
really this, I mean, I would never even say we should go with the lower one, just because if you look at the numbers, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna pay for a lot of costs twice if you don't do the higher one.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I said, Matt, if I would get the park contingency out of there and just put roads, I'm in favor of that. Period.
I would caution against it. I don't think the risk for what you're going for, I don't think the risk is worth removing.
We have to set up a budget. We have to set up some sort of, like you said, amount of money for roads. We haven't done that besides the borrow years ago. And I think, we have to do it. So why not put the 500,000 in there? We're gonna be using it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth handicapping us from maybe needing to use it for contingency.
Okay,
Yeah, I like it both ways, because it gives us flexibility. It's
Okay.
gonna be us deciding it anyways.
We're the same stewards of the money, whether it comes out of a borrow or if it comes out of an operating levy.
I know, but
And if the Lake 5 Bridge, we get the grant and we have, $400,000 spread, coming off there, got the 50%, or it might be more, 80%. I mean, so that would free up.
perfect.
So that would free up a lot of money for the roads and maybe let you be more comfortable with spending it on the parks. So again, I think comfortable with the presentation, or the majority of the board is with the presentation presented. So is there a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to authorize village staff to prepare preliminary official statements, pre-sale reporting, and have an authorizing resolution for the May 13th village board meeting for an amount set by the village board as presented on the second page for an amount not to exceed $4,046,054.
I'll second.
Paula, that was you for the second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That motion sounded pretty good. That satisfies everything that you need.
Yep.
Is there any additional discussion? I'm liking the way that the public and us interacted, and us as a board, we're hitting our stride by the way. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1.
Okay.
And the last item is 10C, which is discussion and necessary action regarding a producer full service retail sales application for Brewfinity to sell beer and alcohol beverages at Lisbon Community Festival.
This is the same vendor that we had last year. This is the state prescribed form. And the State Department of Alcohol Beverage Enforcement is actually who will issue the license, but they do need to get approval and recommendation from us in order to do so. So we don't have any issues with them at all in previous years that they've done this, and I ask for your approval.
There are two restrictions of note. One is alcohol content cannot be above 10% and all, I need to be checked with the 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Jan.
All right,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the producer full service retail sales application for Brewfinity to sell beer and other alcoholic beverages for Lisbon Community Festival with the two exemptions that Danny mentioned.
I second. Oh, go ahead.
Go for it.
Well, who's Mike?
Linda.
Okay, all right. Any additional discussion?
Hmm.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 11, adjournment. Is there a motion?
To adjourn, or second, or whatever it is.
I got, Linda made the motion and I thought it was Mark that's, I don't know, Mark, I think I heard. Oh.
That's
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Well, it's shorter than last month.
And our sound issues that went away.
We turned everything down.
Huh? Oh.